Here with your weekend update is Tom Shelmo.
Students said yes Friday to a $1 tuition increase, as well as a new class of ASM representatives.
Students voted in favor of the Iraqi Student Project. If approved by the Board of Regents, the project would bring 5 Iraqis to the University of Wisconsin for their studies.
Tony Wynn, Kurt Gosling, and Adam Portman were all elected to serve on SSFC. Wynn, however, will not be taking his position.
Coordinator I think her name's Amanda, the candidate person, the candidate. I was originally running for SSFC until I realized that they worked like 20 hours a week, and then I'm like, I can't do it.
Current SSFC Chair Alex Gallagher and Shared Governance Chair Jeffrey Wright were both elected to the Student Council. Both have emphasized the need for reform within their organization.
Any major issue that ASM works on should be approved by Student Council. There should be a vetting process in place. I also think that we need to have and I've talked to a few people about this already, a formal press shop rather than a campus relations committee.
What we need to do is restructure it. I think there's been a lot of talk about putting in a presidential system, which I'm extremely supportive of. I'd like to pursue also more accountability in terms of where the campaigns stem from, and then obviously working on focusing on student services, focusing on issues that that affect the entire campus population, like access to higher education, transportation, safety, those types.
Incumbent member Lindsay Bembenek emphasized the need for focus on legislative affairs by Student Council.
One of our biggest projects is institutionalizing voter registration on campus. We're trying to work through SOAR, and we're looking at different alternatives to get the most number of students registered to vote as possible so we can have a great turnout for the presidential election come November. I think we also have a very strong role and a presence in the Capitol. I know we've set up lobby dates on a number of issues for this semester, and we have a couple more things in the works for next semester.
The new representatives will take office this fall. Conservative columnist Michelle Malkin made her stance on U.S. immigration bluntly clear from the outset of her speech Friday night.
Because I want to offer you a set of my own diverse dissenting principles that I believe should guide our immigration and entrance policies. And the first principle is this: entry into this country is a privilege, not a right. That's so intelligent, such an intelligent rejoinder to a first principle.
Malkin was the keynote speaker for the State College Republicans Convention. Malkin went on to say that immigration should be strictly guided by the rule of law.
Corresponding rule or law or mention in the code of immigration laws, then you should go to Washington and win the votes to do that. Otherwise, those who repeatedly break our laws and subvert judicial rulings must face consequences before catastrophe strikes again.
While response from Malkin's speech was relatively tame, things got heated during the question and answer period.
But what about the terrorism of the ICE agents kicking in doors and terrorizing families, them living in fear all the time?
I think it's quite sad that you possess a moral equivalence that puts the jihadists who murdered innocent people on the same plane as immigration and customs enforcement agents who have a sworn oath and duty in this country.
In criticizing Malkin's views on World War II internment camps, one student became visibly frustrated after Malkin scrutinized his sources.
You watched it then. Watched my book?
You guys all know the internet's a very accessible source, and you guys can find book reviews from it.
Yeah, my book is not available on the internet. The text is not available.
A review of the book, you dumb fuck.
Other audience members were more civil in their question. Topics ranged from enforcement of policies by U.S. attorneys, treatment of children of illegal immigrants, and the economic impact of immigration as a whole. Malkin struck a chord with several audience members when asked her opinion on UW student Tope Awe.
Yes!
You're arguing in favor of divorce. A woman who's lived here in the United States since she was 3 years old, who's 6 weeks, 8 weeks away from getting her degree in pharmacy to be able to help people in this country, you're arguing she should be deported.
Yes. Yes, I am.
You know what? Toby's not going back. She's staying here. We're going to build a fight to make sure that she stays.
And that'll be the rule of law.
And that will be the rule of law.
Student reaction to Malkin's speech was mixed. However, one vocal opponent did agree that the talk promoted dialogue on immigration policies in the United States.
I just hope that we can have an open dialogue between opposing ideologies, for example, college Republicans, and I'm independent, but any other opposing group, because I feel through dialogue we can open up, a diverse environment.
After the speech, Malkin stood by her position on Madison-centric issues. Malkin expressed sympathy for Awe and her family, but insisted her family broke the law.
Many opportunities to appeal. They went before a judge. The judge determined that the father didn't qualify for asylum. They got their order to go. They ignored the order. I think that there should be consequences for not following the rules.
200 community members gathered Sunday to remember a slain UW student. Union President John Barnhart opened the vigil and encouraged all students and community members to voice their thoughts about Brittany. Members of Brittany's family also spoke. In addition to UW students, Mayor Dave Cheslevich and UW Dean of Students Lori Burkhorn were present at the vigil.
We all need to look after one another. The police can't be everywhere all the time. And some of the things that I know the Dean of Students talks about at the beginning of every freshman class really need to be heeded. We do need to really take care of each other, look after one another. And if there's anything positive that come out of this,
I hope that we as a community will come together tonight to celebrate Brittany. We as a community will support each other, the family, Jordan, all of us as we continue in this journey, as we know it, on our campus and as our community.
People describe Brittany as kind, enthusiastic, and full of life. Sister Celestina Menon remembered Brittany as a bright and cheery individual, one of the first she encountered when she arrived in Madison.
So I didn't know much about the campus, so I approached her and asked her for information. She was so kind and welcoming to me, and we just started a conversation, and then she told me, are you in a hurry? No, why don't you sit down with me? And so we sat down, and we talked, I think, 20 minutes or more, and I was so touched by her smile and her being so welcoming and kind to me.
Participants then moved to Library Mall, where they stood silently, surrounded by candlelight. There, a single trumpet led the mourners in a solemn rendition of Varsity.